Mike Power. He had crashed on Friday.
Oh, Mikey. Oh,
he
my goodness.
went over the rumble strip, and then the car locked grip, and he tried to brake, and then he just went into the wall right there, too.
So there's a few interesting things that happened at Media Day. I think we want to start off with James Dean's car catching fire this weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
What was your thoughts, Pete? Because that was, dude. And then the car flips and does this around the wall, like.
I got a clip of that one too. I'll pop it right here.
Oh my goodness gracious! Like that was insane right there. That's when they DB'd it, right?
Yeah. It was before the contact.
Yeah. So that's the right call, actually. I know it's controversial, but that's the right call, unfortunately.
What's up, everybody? I just want to let you all know that this podcast, and especially this episode, is purely our opinion. So, of course, you guys are entitled to your own opinion. So, if you guys disagree with us, please, if you're on YouTube, you can leave a comment, and we can have a little discussion in the comments right there. But anyways, hope you all enjoyed today's episode, and don't forget to dare to drive. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dare to Drive podcast. Today we have a very different little episode today, but I'm your host, Pete, and we have two very special people right here. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves real quick.
Ladies first.
Hey guys, I'm Lucy. I'm your co-host. Yeah.
Cisco? And I'm Cisco, aka Cisco Skids. And just a little background, I'm a Pro-Am driver, and I was a judge for the Mexican Drift Championship. So, for everybody out there saying that I have no bounds of speaking on this, F you, because I do, okay? Plain and simple, it is what it is. And, you know, guys, like, one thing that I want to touch bases on is, like, drifting is such, like, a judge sport with, like, how it's viewed. And it's not by robots, because we tried to do that in the sport before. I don't know if you guys know, D1 did it. And, like, if you want Frederick Osbo to win every single round and every single thing, like, because he's so smooth, right? Then it would have to be, like, you know, judged by people. And being a judge, like, it's very hard because you're going to have to put, like, a non-biased opinion and just go, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have to do your due diligence and make sure that, like, you are looking at the angle, line, and style of the driver. And everybody's different. So, but yeah, just wanted to touch bases on that. But take it away.
But yeah, today's episode, this last weekend, Formula Drift Long Beach went down. So it was a very interesting weekend for sure. But basically, we have pro drifter Cisco right here. And then more to, like, spectator type of point of views right here too. So we're going to ask questions to Cisco for his professional knowledge right here too. Do a whole rundown of what Formula Drift is about and everything. The whole competition days and everything too. And all that good stuff right there. So to get started, we're going to talk about what is Formula Drift at the end of the day. How did it get started, if you know too. And all that good stuff too.
Yeah, well, I mean, Formula Drift is, you know, a United States-based motorsports drifting series, and it was started in 2004. Technically, like 2003. So D1 Grand Prix, which was the sanctioned bodying competition based out of Japan, came over, did a couple of demos over here, and then Formula Drift, Jim Lau and Ryan Sage came together and created Formula Drift. Yeah. And I was part of the first year. Man, it's been 20 years. It's crazy where time flies. So, yeah, I mean, Formula Drift is now the pinnacle, I think, and it's looked up around the world as the pinnacle of the sport, and really well respected. And I just want to say, you know, shout outs to Jim and Ryan for persevering through the hard times. 2008, most definitely. During COVID, they kept it alive too. And not a lot of credit goes to those two people. They really put in their heart, sweat, and tears. And they both worked as, like, you know, Ryan said this before too. He said, like, they worked like really like yin and yang. Yeah. You know what I mean? And, you know, Jim is doing PRI stuff now. and Ryan is solely in charge, and it's exciting, guys. Like the way that it's moving with the seating bracket, and when I know we're gonna
Yeah.
get into that pretty soon, but like yeah, so it's just amazing. It's an amazing time because when there's change, then that means like the sport is growing in the right direction.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, we're not like stuck in like the same thing, like the
Yeah.
same routine, same routine.
Yeah,
Are you
exactly.
guys excited about like what you guys saw this weekend?
I think it was very different compared to the past few years we've watched it, and it's looked more competitive. Like it looked exciting. Like there was always something like to look for, to root for, you know. Whereas like other years, you're like, okay, like sure, like it's cool to see, but it needed some type of spark. I feel
Yeah,
like, yeah, it
most
needed a
definitely.
spark.
yeah,
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because before it was more in the qualifying day, which is that Friday, it would be just single runs at a time right there.
Yeah.
And I do like it because I went Friday in person right there too, and it was just tandems, and it was a lot more fast paced, and we'll get more into it later, but yeah, it was a really good experience right there for sure.
yeah, absolutely.
What do the judges look for when judging?
So basically, it's judged by line, speed, and angle, and overall impact. The judges could also make additional requests at the drivers' meeting to let them know, like, hey, man, I want you to get this close to the wall. Or, hey, if you hit the wall, you're going to get deducted. Because when you hit the wall, there's a correction that the driver has to make to save the car. So I always tell people when you're drifting, please, please do not lift. Once you hear that impact of the back of the car hitting the wall, you just when in doubt, gas it out. You know what I mean? Like you just got to go pedal to the metal.
Yeah,
Once you lift, the car automatically like wants to go into the wall. So that's when you see like impact and then front end smack. It's because the driver lifted. So no matter how hard you hit it, you always got to be on the gas.
yeah,
So it's judged by that. Those are different criteria. There's three judges, right? And it's excuse me, angle, line, and style. You guys have any questions about that?
I mean, we could talk about like the basic concepts of each one.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
there's a
let's start with the line, for example.
okay. So line, you have an outer zone and inner clipping point. So the outer zone is two rear tires have to be in the designated area that the judges put on. So in Formula D, I believe it's like 2 feet. Um, when it's a little bit like pro-am-ish series, they allow like a 4 foot box
Yeah.
gap. The boxes is bigger pretty much. And basically the butt of the car needs to be sitting on the two rear tires. If you go beyond that, you're off track. So two tires off track is disqualification. And then inner clip, obviously, the front of the car has to get closest to that cone as possible.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a directed line that the judges show. There'll be a board, and then you'll see an initiation. So there'll be a designated cone for initiation. So you need to start drifting at that point. So like, if you don't start the drift after that point, then it's a zero. The car should already be sideways when you hit that initiation point.
Right, exactly.
Then you go through the line, like I said, hit all the outer zones, inner zones, whatever, however the track layout is. And then if you hit the lines, that's how the line judge will judge that. Angle is rate to angle, meaning how much like the trajectory of the car actually like is set.
Yeah.
So with wise fab and stuff like that, if you go to full lock and you slow down because you're scrubbing so much, they don't really want to see that. So you can't go to full lock. So the angle judge is watching how the car's reacting and setting and seeing those front wheels.
Yeah.
So you guys as fans, you guys could tell like when you're somebody's like
Yeah.
right because the wheels are like bam. So the judge is looking for that. Also, angle judge is going to be looking at inputs as far as like corrections. So if you see the front wheel do this while he's drifting, that's not a good look. You want to be smooth and fluent. It has to be fluid. It has to be a fluid run. So drift, transition, it's not drift and then the wheels, a bunch of inputs going in with the driver. And then style is literally how hard you throw it. So the style judge is going to be like, you know, hey, how committed was he? Is he modulating the throttle or is he flat out? So I think we could talk about some of the crashes too, where I know later on in the podcast we're going to talk about that. But you could hear like drivers like modulating the throttle, meaning like what, instead of what, like full out. So that has to do with style also. Remember, this is my opinion, and usually different judges have different opinions and different things that they want. So in the drivers meeting, that's why it's very important for a professional driver. Like me and my team, bro, we'll go up to like the judges and be like, hey dude, what are you looking for? My spotter will be right next to me, and Chris will be like, hey dude, are you guys rewarding tapping the wall or not? Because you just gave so and so you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's like it varies from series to Pro Am, Pro 2, and Pro Spec.
Yeah.
I mean Pro Am, Pro 2, which is Pro Spec, and then Pro 1, obviously. Excuse me.
And I think that's what Formula Drift or drifting in general. That's where the fun part and the controversial part of judging comes in too.
Yeah,
like who
dude.
wins, who loses, all that good stuff right there too.
Yeah.
But next we can talk about how tandems work. Of course, tandems, two cars run together right there.
Yeah.
What's the difference between like the chase run and the lead run too?
So obviously people need to understand that like the lead car is a moving clipping point. So whatever line the lead driver is choosing to run, you have to mimic that line, guys. Like you have to mimic it. So even if he's way off the wall or way off that zone, you have to mimic it. Obviously the lead driver has to put down a chaseable run. So it can't be trash either.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and if it's unsafe, then, that's the lead driver's fault. You know what I mean? So always remember that the front car is a moving clipping point. So whatever the front car does and the car behind it crashes because of the result of the car in front is going to be judged in such a way where the guy leading is in the wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of people get frustrated. I think we have an example this weekend about that.
We do.
I think that's
Ryan Turk.
I think that's one of the more interesting things about drifting, because in motorsports in general, a lot of the times it's circle after circle after circle, and I think that's what sets drifting apart, because no two runs will be identical.
Yeah.
No two. Even if they're between two of the same exact drivers, it will not be the same.
No, it's not. And what's crazy about it is like usually because I've been in the position, and now that we're moving on to the seating bracket and getting rid of qualification. By the way, I elaborated on this earlier. There's no more protests. So usually in the rules, a team will protest if they called out something illegal on the car of a competitor.
Yeah.
So people will like dry snitch and be like, "Hey, this fool's running so and so, and that's illegal." And there's no more protesting. So that DB rule, which Shanahan had, which he had another run, was implemented. So he DB'd it. So that's why they ran it back.
Yeah.
And people were a little frustrated because, well, how come that's why or you know what I mean? And it created this whole thing. And I was telling you, it's like, well, it's illegal to use bead sealer, and it was because of Chelsea DeNofa was running 5 psi with bead sealer, just gripped up the car. So whenever like they catch onto something, Formula Drift is forever evolving, just like any motorsports, any SCCA or NASA event too. They're forever changing the rule books. And when somebody finds like a kink in the armor, that's when they're gonna start modifying those rules and stuff. So I'm like really happy that like they're actually taking a proactive approach to changing rules, taking drivers' input, fans' input, and stuff like that. So
Yeah, most definitely.
yeah, that's something that like it's impactful too. But too, like those rules changed the whole weekend
Yeah.
in the results of stuff,
Alrighty, so I think we should get into media day. So media day is one of the most, I think, in my opinion, it's one of the most exciting days because it's leading up to the events. Drivers are unveiling their liveries, their new cars, you know, like their new sponsorships. So I think it's very like amazing day. So there's a few interesting things that happened at media day. I think we want to start off with James Dean's car catching fire this weekend.
Yeah, most definitely.
What was your thoughts, Pete? Because that was.
Well, from what I've seen, okay, so in media day, right? Of course, they do runs and they do a lot of ride-alongs, right? So that's what my thing is. Like, it was wild because on that run there was someone in the car with him, and I saw POV footage from inside the car, and it looked terrifying.
It looked brutal, guys.
Yeah, so it was crazy. He ran the whole car and everything,
Yeah.
caught fire. They luckily everyone was safe, so that's the all that matters right there too. But from what I thought at first, what I heard what was it, a few days ago, I heard that the nitrous line had caught fire, but we have other information. Right?
Yeah, well, that's why you guys got me, right?
Yeah.
So the passage. Okay, so first of all, let's get something straight. Which media day? Did you guys go to the parade?
No, we did not.
Okay, I've always wanted to go because it
Yeah.
just looks
Yeah.
like crazy.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
you're going through the streets of Long Beach. Everyone's like, "Wow!" And if you've heard the cars, they're like, "Wow, wow, wow, wow," like
Yeah.
very, very loud. Especially Jonathan Hurst's car. Like that thing is like backfiring and just loud.
Yeah, I think it's crazy.
They have passengers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have race suits.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, yeah, I had some time off. I saw it on Rome's live. That's how I saw it.
Live during that.
He was live chasing
Wow.
him, and I'm like, oh, Rome's going live. Let me see what's up, man. Let's see what's up with the homie. You know what I mean? And yeah, dude, on Rome's live, like that dude had like second and third degree burns on his arm.
Oh wow.
I don't know if you guys knew that or not.
We didn't.
Yeah, they got out of the car, so I think he just like freaked out. Usually, there's a misconception when you run like Pro Am and Pro 2 and Pro 1. We have fire suppression systems, which it's like a lever on the A pillar, and you pull it, and it's a fire extinguisher pretty much, and there's nozzles that go everywhere on the car. One to the engine bay, there's one that's in the cab, the other one to like the fuel cell and stuff like that. So everybody is scared to pull it because people think that it's gonna like destroy your car. But all you have to do is like wipe the sud off and make sure you wipe it off promptly because it will start creating rust and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it starts eating away because it's a chemical in the end of the day. And so what happened there was the dry sump line that comes out of the pump in the engine bay, well, in the engine block, there's a dry sump system. If you guys are not aware of that, it's just a system that adds more oil into your engine so you don't blow it, and it just holds like a big reserve of oil in an external tank. That line actually bursted, and that's why the fire was so quick because it was an oil fire. You could tell by the black smoke immediately, and then interesting enough. I was talking to a colleague of mine, and like Adam LZ had the same issue last year at Long Beach. So I'm like really shocked that RTR didn't do the due diligence and like really got down and made like a hard line instead of a flexible line. I don't really know exactly how it bursted or where it bursted to be specific, but it was off the dry sump for sure, and that's why it was so quick and so furious and stuff. And let me tell you something. When you're in a fire, because the yellow car is caught on fire. Yeah. When a fire happens, you just want to get out and just get away.
Yeah.
You don't really think. And I think James just got scared, turned off the pump, turned off the car, and got out immediately. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like what happened there. But they're gonna fix it. And as far as like, I have a note right here, like the responsibilities of Von Giddens Jr. for RTR and having that Mustang backing, Ford backing, I should say. their responsibilities to get that car up and running and race that weekend. So shout out to them for making it happen. I mean, I'm talking about hours to get that car back together. Did you
Yeah.
guys see the pictures?
It was destroyed. The whole
Destroyed,
car.
right?
It
Exactly.
was insane.
Destroyed. But from all the connections and all the willpower and having the backing, and you know what? A lot of people were talking smack, like, "Oh, they're not gonna get it done" and everything like that. And I think, Von Giddens a champion at heart, man. The dude's a champion. He ain't gonna give up on his guys or the team. And he got in there, and that car looked like nothing happened, huh? Besides the wrap missing.
Yeah, it looked a little burned.
It
Little
looked
burn
a little.
marks.
Did
It
it?
looked good.
It looked good on the
Yeah.
TV. I wasn't there, guys, so I wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know what I
It
mean?
looked good, guys. Honestly, like obviously it didn't look perfect, but it looked decent, and obviously it was okay if he ended up winning Long Beach.
That was crazy that like the car was cutting out, and that's what people don't understand. When a car catches fire, and then you start, even if you repair the harness, the whole harness needs to be replaced because sometimes if two wires arc in a wire loom, they create they could burn out in other places. They create like a resistance in the line, and then you're just chasing demons at that point.
Yeah.
So that's why I yanked out my whole setup, because once it caught on fire, it's like, okay, we got to redo everything now. And I'm just amazed of like the time frame that they did this in.
Yeah. Literally what? 2 days? They got it
Yeah.
up by Saturday or Friday.
So I believe, when did it happen? I believe it was like Wednesday or something, right?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Tuesday is media day.
Tuesday was media
Wednesday's the
day.
day off, and then Thursday's the parade.
parade.
And then Friday was the seating bracket,
Yeah.
and then Saturday was showtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. So from Tuesday to Saturday. Oh, Friday. I'm
He was
sorry.
running warm up and everything.
Yeah, on Friday.
In practice.
Wow.
So
Wow. Did you guys hear the car cut off? Like when you guys were, because I know you guys went on Friday, or you went Friday,
I was
right?
there Friday. I
Did
didn't notice anything, to be honest. I know there was a few runs where he spun out. I think it was with the guy with the Ferrari, Federico. I
Oh,
forget his name.
yeah. I don't want to say it wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, but there's a few times he spun out or lost control, whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the problem right there. But definitely it was surprising how he just pushed through it. It was wild.
Yeah, that shows competitive nature and how serious that team is, man. I really do. Like, whenever I see stuff like that, it motivates me because as far as you think, like, I saw the pictures online and, dude, everything was charred. Like, especially when it's an oil fire or gas fire, it's like,
Yeah.
dude, oh my gosh.
Literally.
Yeah.
Well, moving on, now that we're on to the Friday we're talking about,
Yeah.
would be the new bracket system. We can talk a little bit about that. The new seating bracket right there.
So how do you guys feel about the seating bracket? Do you guys completely understand it?
For the most part, I like the point that it's all tandems. So it's the only tandem
Yeah.
day right there. The whole event is all tandems now.
Yeah.
And there's no one more times on the seating bracket. I kind of like it because it made it quick and
I like
everything.
one more times, guys. I like seeing it again. Like, you
Yeah.
don't catch everything. One more time work.
Right.
But
And it's getting to the point where like inches is getting the call right or wrong. Like how much inches and proximity we're on, but so people need to understand the seating bracket and then the bracket that's already made with like all the points.
yeah,
So we got like 1 through 24 or 25, I believe. If it's top 32, it's 24.
yeah,
Because then you have your top 8 that comes from the seating bracket. So it goes off of the previous round and whoever won it and everything like that. So everybody knows there's a championship in the end of the season, and everybody's just getting as much points as possible.
Yeah.
So usually you would get points also with where you qualify and stuff like that. So the 24 is a set bracket, and then you have a seating bracket underneath, which is 16. So there's 40 drivers. So I guess like Formula Drift has made it so like 40 drivers is a good like sweet spot for them for prospect and pro. I believe Pro Spec is going to go to 46 or 47 drivers. I believe if it's 48 for Pro Spec, it gets kind of dicey on the algorithm of this thing. So all this stuff has been like modeled, and they did their due diligence, like I said, to get it all right. So the 24 is set through the points of the existing like previous weekend or previous round, and those 16 are fighting for a spot for that 24. So it makes a 32 bracket.
Got it.
Yeah, and the bottom 16, for it not to be like every single time you're going against the same guy, 2 through 7 on that bottom seating bracket of the 16, the guy who won or who's on top of that 16 is gonna choose like I think they have like little clear coins from 2 to 7, and basically whoever the guy chooses, let's say it's like whoever, let's say it's just Rudy Hansen, right? He chooses Rudy, but Rudy's down here. He will automatically be the number one qualifier for that top 16 bracket. Because if you don't do that, then these guys on top 16 seating bracket are going to keep on battling each other.
Right.
And we're going to keep on seeing the same battles over and over and over again. So to keep that from happening, 2 to 7, they're going to be pulling a number, and then that person goes up to number one, so they could face number 16, 2 faces 15, 3 faces 14, and so on and so forth. And then whoever comes out of the top 16 battle, whoever makes it to the 8, those 8 go to the 24, and then it makes the top 32.
Yeah. So the top 8, they're just locked in for the main
Yeah,
event. Right?
and then before, bro, like it would be you go and qualify.
Yeah.
So as a driver, a lot of people like me, I don't care. Like it's just qualification. I love it because it's you against yourself. A lot of people can't handle that pressure, and they mess up on their qualifying run. So you got 2 cracks at it, and like how my program runs is like my spotter would be like, okay, cool, like be conservative, get to the points that you need to get to. We'll see where we end up. Then the second time that we come around, I'm going full send. Like I'll go all in, because I could afford to make a mistake, because I've already had points on the board, and they go off the highest score that you put down.
Yeah.
So, but then if you don't qualify, then you don't get a tandem battle. That's the problem. So people would spend all this money, I'm talking about thousands of dollars, to show up to the event, and then just screw up the whole qualifying. And then they're out of the show, and they don't even get a tandem battle because they messed up on the qualifying.
Yeah.
Now that's completely out of the question, now it's just full tandem.
Yeah.
So it really goes to show you, like, and then as far as like people like me who the strong shoot is qualifying, dude, you got to lead a lead run to lay down that perfect qualifying run, and see if that driver behind you can mimic that. Usually when you're going really close to the wall, a lot of people don't want to get close to it. And they're going to shallow up, and that creates distance. And you can see it automatically as soon as you start running. But it's going to make for an exciting year, man. I can't wait, like, honestly. And seeing it from you guys' perspective, like, you guys are excited too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe like they're moving in the right direction, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, at first I was a little skeptical. I'm like, what is all this seating bracket stuff?
Yeah.
But
Just like everybody else, right?
pretty much, a lot of people were skeptical about it. But I went Friday, like I mentioned, and it was a really good experience. Like the vibes. It was competition at the end of the day. Everyone was super competitive and everything. Yeah.
I think I liked it just because of years. I don't know what year it was, but I remember like wanting to see some drivers like Friday and Saturday, and we didn't like even get to see them drive. And I
Yeah,
think
that's true.
this year around, like everyone we wanted to see driving was driving, which was really cool.
Yeah, it gives everyone like
A
some
good
level,
chance,
equal
like a
chance.
fighting
Huh?
chance.
Yeah.
And that's what as a driver, like, we want, man. We want to go to battle, because like I said, with this whole thing is like when you line up to that start line and you look over to the person that you're going up against, it's like you know they worked harder or as hard as you did to get there. It's not easy. And like I always tell people like the difference between me and other people that kind of started in the grassroots scene with me is that I never gave up. I kept my eye on the prize. I never gave up, and I was like, this is what I really want to do, and I kept on doing it. You know, there's something that I tell my kids, and it's like, you know what? I'll ask you guys. You know what a champion is? Somebody who's a champion, who's a winner, who wins.
Someone who's good at what they're doing.
Yeah, but it's actually a loser that never gave up.
Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like really, it's one of those things where you have to persevere. It doesn't happen overnight, dude. It hasn't like happened for me because instead of like taking the elevator up there, I'm taking the stairs.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm here for a long time, not a good time. And this is truly who I am, and I love the sport. That's why I took the chance to go to Mexico and help those guys out down there and share some knowledge with all the drivers down there and try to help out the scene. You know, it means a lot to me. And when I see stuff like this, where Ryan's taking charge and having everybody behind him support him with the changes that Formula Drift is making, it really makes me excited because I see, and you know how like NASCAR's big? I see Formula Drift as big as NASCAR.
Yeah, it's getting bigger. Like in recent years, it's getting bigger. Like last year, it was huge. Like we went and there were so many people, way more than other years. And then this year was absolutely massive. Like crowds beyond eyes can see. Like it's getting huge, and it's so exciting. It's nice to like be able to like be in a place where you're sharing your passion with everyone else. You know, like it's cool.
Yeah,
It's nice.
most definitely. I agree with that.
And I think you had somebody else on the podcast recently, and he was just like, not everybody's going to be into bad cars, and nobody's ever,
exactly.
you know, but as a car community, we got to like come together, dude.
Yeah.
Like support each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Because everything's cool in the end of the day, right?
Yeah,
Everything,
definitely.
like mini trucks are cool too. You know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
love mini trucks. Okay, so
All
getting into it, let's get into the runs. So
Well, here we go.
So yeah, we're gonna be talking about the top 3, which was Adam LZ, Connor Shanahan, and then the 14-year-old Roya
Hero.
Hero.
We call him Hero. The homies do. Yeah.
So he's 14 years old. That's wild.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And they said like a lot of his time like driving like the FD like all the FD tracks was on Sims like that's incredible. Like how do you get that much seat time on a track? Sims. That's insane.
So the kid's mom and dad also drift.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's been in the public eye recently.
Yeah.
And they throw down. They throw down. My friend Gary's really good friends with his dad, and they're really good people. And man, that kid is a protege of what the sim could do, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy because I don't even have a sim, and I'm just like, dude, I'm missing out.
Literally.
It's called free tires, bro. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like there's no.
Go over and over.
And if you crash, you don't have to fix a control arm, tie rod, or anything like that. Have you ever had a sim? Have you ever drove a sim?
No.
Me, no.
I want to.
You guys should have went to the. I think Sim Magic had a simulator.
Yeah,
Yeah, we passed by.
How long was that line?
It wasn't really long.
No?
Yeah, it was the rain.
And I was ready.
Yeah.
I was ready.
All right, so we're gonna watch some.
We're actually gonna watch it, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna watch a few clips. We're gonna go with Adam LZ and Connor Shanahan. That was for 3rd and 2nd place right there.
Was this on Friday?
Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do this Friday.
Adam LZ, Connor Shanahan. As
Okay.
you guys might know, Connor Shanahan, he was a championship at Drift Masters. A few years in a row, right? I think 2 championships, something like that.
I believe so.
So, his first.
I know for sure last year.
yeah,
Last year. Yeah.
First season at Formula Drift, a lot of eyes were on him for sure. So let's watch this real quick.
Okay, nice and tight. Yeah, keeping it real nice and tight there.
Something flew.
There's definitely some contact. It was a nice fluid lead run, and then the chase to it was also fluid.
Mhm.
Wait,
Yeah.
let's watch again.
So, there's the replay right there.
I like that.
So initiation, yeah, absolutely. He kind of shallows up right there. Everybody was having that transitional kind of problem.
In the first turn, right?
Yeah,
I saw that.
as soon as they come out of the, what is it called, the power alley or whatever they
Yeah.
call
Yeah.
it, to transition,
Yeah.
it was really, you could tell where
Yeah.
the car wasn't settled.
All right, and then this one is Connor Shanahan leading right here. So this one was crazy.
It's amazing. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, inches. And one has a V8 with 1,000 horsepower, and the other one has a JZ with 1,000 horsepower.
Wait, who has a Jay-Z?
Um, Adam.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Good for him.
Yeah, but that was the run between them two, and then who ended up winning was Adam LZ. So, how do you guys feel about that one? I know a lot of people were. I know Connor Shanahan. He was angry on his story.
So,
Yeah.
Connor, okay, so I'm going to tell you, go back. So this just, all this came down to was the chase position.
Yeah.
Both leads were like amazing, right?
Uh-huh.
But if you could see on the replay, Shanahan shallowed up through that alley, like we were talking about how
Yeah.
Rome did it, and then he got to his door.
Yeah.
LZ was more fluid through that. So when he
Yeah.
transitioned, you could watch right about here,
Here.
right here. You see how he's at angle, and then boom, he tucks in, and then comes around. That was the difference on that. If you look at the other one, where Shanahan is chasing him, he shallowed up. He didn't have rate to angle with like him mimicking the line. So remember the lead car is a moving clipping point. Watch, you'll see where he shallows up
Around here.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw.
And if you see the other angle when you're facing them, yeah. So there was like no mistakes, but that was the only mistake that was made
Wow.
by Shanahan. And that's how this thing is getting judged, guys. It's like one little mistake.
Yeah.
By like minuscule things.
Exactly.
That's insane.
And as a judge, you need to make sure that you see the both runs and who was fluid.
I think Adam LZ is on the come up with this. Like he's gotten way better.
He has a lot of
Props to
seat time, Lucy.
Yeah.
He has a lot of seat time.
For sure.
Like I said, I'm a fan of anybody who puts in work. The guy has an amazing work ethic.
No, yeah.
So, and it's starting to show.
Yeah.
So I mean, for all you haters out there, influencer, like shut up.
But he's everywhere now. Like he drives everywhere.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like right before like Formula Drift this week, he was where? He was somewhere else in another
A few
event.
weeks before they had the World Tour, the LZ
Oh,
World
at Kern
Tour.
County, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then but then last week he was drifting in another event.
Was he?
Right before, yeah, and I was like, oh, he left his car here, but he left. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's gonna be competing in Drift Masters.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that.
Good for him.
Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy. So yeah, that one, Connor Shanahan got third place, and then the next run would be Adam LZ versus Hero, right?
Yeah.
So I believe Hero right here is gonna be in the lead position right here.
Nice and fluid.
He's smooth with that.
See how unsettled the car is? It's moving back and forth. So he's on him, but he's making too many adjustments. He wasn't with like Shanahan where they're both coming in and both cars are just sliding together instead of one car moving like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see him jolt a little bit.
Right there, look at it. There's You see?
Yeah. Where you,
I see.
yeah.
Remember, guys, it has to be fluid.
Mm-hmm.
Fluidity and how the car sets and how it looks, obviously.
Mm-hmm. And the next one would be Adam Oz leading right here.
See? Right angle, breaks through. Car's settled. Car's very settled right there.
Mm-hmm.
Very comfortable in the pocket. The pocket is between the two wheels. And he's just on his door. Textbook example of a win. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you guys, as like, and for fans looking out there, start noticing what the chase car is doing. Now that I'm taking out all these points, right? You guys have a better understanding of like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's why the call was made, or that's why, yeah. You see,
Exactly.
he's in the pocket. He's like literally in the pocket, and that's the sweet part. That's why the front tire should be hitting the door, because that's the sweet spot right
Yeah.
there. If you hit the front tire, you're going over the guy's hood. We saw that too last year with James Dean and
Yeah.
I think Matt Field hit James Dean.
Yeah. It was that.
That was wild, bro. That was dude. And no, and then the car flips and does this
Yeah.
around the wall.
I
Like,
got a clip of that one too. I'll
I
pop
remember.
it right here. That thing
oh
was crazy.
my goodness gracious! Like, that was insane. I was like, man, how did he walk away from that? His neck don't hurt. Like,
Yeah,
man.
but that Friday, the whole seating competition right there, it is pretty cool. And I do like the fact that they have the practice in the morning, and then the people that are in the top 24, top 32 for the next day, they have time to prepare themselves at the end of the day too. Because I was there, and it was funny because I was in the bleachers, and then here comes James Dean walking up, and he's sitting like a few rows down from me, just chilling with his family and stuff.
Right.
I'm like, that's really cool. They get to mentally prepare themselves too for the real competition, and so yeah.
And it's really important, like, for anybody that wants to do this or is aspiring to do this or is doing this, you got to be really relaxed, bro. You can't be tense. You have to be really relaxed. If you're worried about other stuff in life, it's like, it's not going to work, man. It's going to mess with you. I think I've been plagued by external factors and a lot of stuff. So it doesn't really like help when you don't have your whole life in line. If your life's a mess, don't be trying to go to the track and make something of yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's cool that you saw that. Hey, he's tall too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really tall, bro. Yeah, when I met him, I was like, "What's up, bro?" Like, I had to look.
Yeah.
What's up, bro? How do you fit in the car, bro? Because I'm like shy of 6 foot, and I sit like on the floor of my car, like on the settings are like really, really like the clicks or like the mounting position is to the lowest point. So
Yeah, but it's cool even with his car. I mean, his season back was last year, right?
Yeah.
With the Mustang, I like how he stuck with the right-hand drive in the Mustang too. He stuck with his roots. Other than like Shanahan, he's completely different car, right-hand or left-hand drive car with the E36. So it's really cool. Just seeing that car as a right-hand drive Mustang. I don't know.
Yeah, that's something. Once again, like, you got to be comfortable.
All right. Well, next day would be Saturday, the main event, the top 32 right there.
Nice.
What do you guys want to start with there?
I don't know. I think we can start with top 4 and then go into the more controversial runs.
Okay, for sure. So top 4 would be Simon Olsen, Ken Gucci, and then James Dean, and then Bacci. Odi Bacci right there.
Odi Bachis.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I had some tuning obligations I needed to take care of yesterday. As soon as it started raining, I had to go. But I did see most of the battles. But we're gonna run the replays, right, of the top 4. Okay. I heard something about the final, what my thoughts were on and stuff like that, and I kind of like retracted from it because I didn't see it. somebody was like, "Oh, what do you think of James Dean's?" I'm like, I don't even know what happened.
I mean, at the end of the day, it was a lot different just because it was practically flooded by the time they ran it.
Okay, so can you explain the sight laps, for example? Because I know in the rain they typically do the sight laps. Like
So Rome and Connor should have came together and really said like they should have got first of all, like that whole team is amazing, but they really dropped the ball. I know that Shanahan went against Turk. I just want to touch bases on this real quick before we get into this top four. We're gonna go back to this though, because I know people have their issues with the Turk situation and the Shanahan situation, but Shanahan's team or Shanahan's spotter should have asked it for a sight lap. They just went full send, and it started to rain a little bit. And so when water's on top of the racetrack, the oil starts coming up. That's why it's so slippery.
Yeah.
Then when there's more water, the oil kind of, separates and does its funky thing. But so the sight lap is basically you don't have to drift or nothing. You could just see reference points on the track itself.
Yeah.
So you just go either warm up your tires, go back and forth. You could drift a little bit to see how the car's reacting. Come back and then start the lap. So usually, like what I would do for a sight lap is I would clutch kick and see how gripped up the track is and how the car feels.
And do you have experience in the rain?
Yeah.
Drifting and everything?
Yeah, dude. I've had some bad situations. I remember Odie had a field suspension day, and I was invited. And Keone Rodriguez, he's Hawaiian, one of my good friends. He blew his 2J in front of me, and all the oil came out.
Oh no!
And as soon as I hit the oil, I almost went into the wall.
Oh snap!
Because when you hit oil or water like that, it's like ice. It's just like ice.
Yeah,
So sight lap is just to make sure that you see the track conditions.
Yeah.
And some guys, like I said, like I would clutch kick just a little bit, get a little sideways, see how much I could get away with,
How it reacts to the car.
Yeah, exactly. Just to see.
For sure.
And by this time, because it started raining, I believe the battle of Olsen and Turk, like the teams are taking off sway bars, they're making suspension adjustments, to get the car to react better on the rain. Because all these cars have like 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is a lot better to have a softer set of suspension.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know what I've seen at that, I don't know what you would call it, on the street where it has the bumps right there.
Yeah.
A lot of people were going over that. And
the rumble strip, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Who complained about it? Shanahan complained about it?
Because, what's his name? Mike Power. He had crashed on
Yeah.
Friday.
Oh, Mikey. Oh, my goodness.
He went over the rumble strip, and then the car lost grip, and he tried to brake, and then he just went into the wall right there, too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was very. I talked to Mike, so it's he's doing his best for what he has, and that nitro setup that he has is good. Everything's good. The livery was amazing. Yeah. That S15 really looks good. Yeah. And he's a really talented driver. So to see him go into the wall like that was, to say the least, it sucks. It sucks. Yeah, he's put in so much hard work, and he's just trying to progress. So he hit. I'm unfamiliar with what happened. I saw the crash though. But yeah, it looked like when he initiated, something must have happened, and then he just locked up the brakes and it went straight into the wall.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah. So once I get more insight, guys, I'll let you guys know. But as far as right now, I don't have any information to what happened.
Yeah, watching the lead run with Ken Gucci right here.
So Gucci is like really shallow and doesn't have that much angle as Alston did. And obviously Alston's a little closer than Gucci.
How does the rain affect their judging criteria when they're looking at this? I
mean, obviously if you spin out, I mean it's a 0. But corrections also, how fluid you are.
Mm-hmm.
So the same thing that we were talking about earlier, about the correction in steering, how much you pull the handbrake, because that's where you can see the wheels lock up and stuff like that. That dictates on the judge's decision, most definitely. So Gushi's car, and this is what's crazy about the rain drifting, is that you're not, the smoke can't block
Yeah.
those little adjustments. So literally in the rain, like you can't hide anything.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. That's we noticed.
Yeah. So Gucci was really shallow on his approach.
Mm-hmm.
Olsen had a lot of angle.
Yeah.
And it's because of that angle kit. So usually it scrubs a lot, and when you're scrubbing, it slows you down. So it holds the car back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that ended up being Olsen against James Dean in the finals, right there, right?
Yeah.
So Olsen moved on.
Yeah. She did not.
So Gucci ended up in fourth.
So this one right here is gonna be Odie and Dean.
Oh! What in the world? It looked like he almost spun out, like in after the initiation. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's where judging gets a little tricky, a little dicey right here, with the rain especially. But I believe in this um, run, what James Dean ended up winning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
After the initial, look at, like, yeah, right there where you just had it. It looked like he almost rotated, like he was about to fully right there.
Yeah.
You see?
I see.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's kind of wild. Damn. No wonder I was getting hit up about my. Unless Odie made a big mistake, but yeah, that was a mistake.
I see.
And proximity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, proximity. So James Dean just had a cleaner run, a chase run.
Yeah.
Odie, once again, going back to that real difficult spot that everybody has had a issue with this weekend. They, yeah, they
I don't remember that spot being an issue previous years though. Or has it and I just haven't noticed? But because I've noticed it a lot more this year that people were messing up in that turn. Like in that transition.
So your drift intelligence is getting up to par. Your IQ in drifting is
Oh,
getting up to
maybe.
par.
Maybe.
So naturally, when you learn something new,
Mm-hmm.
or you gravitate towards something, you start realizing things that you wouldn't be realizing if you were just like watching.
That's true.
And I think that transition is a really crucial spot on judging, because everything else could be flawless. But if you mess up in that one little spot,
Yeah.
it's a wrap. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, on that one, what Odie ended up getting third on that one, and then Dean went to the final with Simon Olsen right there.
Okay.
So with Dean, so this is Dean's chase run with Simon Olsen right here. And both drivers have experience in the rain too. I know James Dean's from Ireland. It's always raining over there. Simon Olsen is from, where was it?
Denmark? Sweden? I don't know.
Norway.
Yeah.
Norway. There we go.
What's that little flag? My son will know. He's into geography right now.
That's funny.
He's like, no, Dad, that's Romania's flag. It's like, oh, you're so adorable. Come here.
But yeah, I mean,
That was those, dude. I mean, for the conditions, this guy's fucking throwing it.
yeah, because the rain, you can see the massive puddles right there. And then let's watch Simon Olsen's lead run right here.
He should be disqualified because he didn't turn on his lights.
Probably didn't even have any.
After the fire, they couldn't figure out the wiring.
But yeah, you can see the puddles. It's crazy on the track.
Yeah.
Right there.
I think his Dean's chase run was better than Olsen's though.
Yeah, look at that proximity. He's like literally harassing him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, "What's up, bro? I'll catch on fire again."
Yeah.
It's wild, dude.
That was good.
I want to have a pro team so I can catch on fire and have my car ready in 2 days.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just a really good run from James Dean
Yeah,
for sure.
that was really good.
Yeah, he deserves it, man.
Yeah.
You got to give credit where credit's due.
After that whole weekend.
Oh, the obstacles and
A comeback.
And regardless, I think both drivers deserved it too. I know Simon Olsen, he hasn't won
around. Yeah.
Anytime.
And you know what? Him going from the Supra. Do you guys remember when he had the Supra?
I believe so.
Yeah, he had the Supra. Him going and taking a step back, getting involved with Fuel Suspension, which is Odie's company, and getting into a platform that is just proven and tested. That shows how talented Olsen is really. Like that's what you have to take away from this. Is like he did the Supra thing. It didn't work out. I think the R&D on that car, which was the development process. So every car has a development process that it goes through. And if you're not Papadakis in Toyota, you know, it's kind of hard to get through those big humps without that support. And I think his deal with the kinks and stuff, it just wasn't a match.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're just comfortable in a chassis, guys, like stick to that chassis. Like, don't give up on it. But it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I need to move on. And I really, really am so happy that Olsen had the balls to like really be like, you know what, this is not working. I don't care how much money I've spent. Maybe utilizing my license and jumping onto a team is going to be a better look for me.
Yeah.
And look at the results of just humbling himself and going to a team in a different platform in a different program instead of running his own. So I really like stuff like that.
Yeah. On that topic, I like that LZ is solo now again. I think he looks a lot more comfortable in the E36 than he looked in the RTR team in that Mustang. Yeah, he looks comfortable. He looks well. He's doing amazing.
He's having fun too, right?
Yeah.
I could see it in the guy's face. Like he's having so much fun.
Yeah.
And ultimately, dude, like that's what we're out here for. We're out here to have fun. If you're not having fun, dude, like I said, go fix your life. Because, you know, it really shows on the track.
Yeah.
When you have like that much pressure and everything like that. And, you know, we saw it with Hobson, you know, that he jumped into Chelsea's role. And he's having difficulties. And that's part of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes when you are faced with a lot of adversity or a lot of pressure, it's going to show, man. And unfortunately, like it shows sometimes in the wrong events and the wrong attribute, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, shout out to him for trying his best. And, you know, RTR is trying their very best, you know, to produce something. And it's just part of the game, you know. It's part of racing and stuff. You think Dale Earnhardt had every single weekend a win? No. He had failures that came with before he won a championship.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know? So we got to remember that we're all human at the end of the day and nothing's perfect. And literally, like drifting, this is why I love drifting, guys, is like I love the fact that it's so unpredictable.
Yeah.
It's so unpredictable and you don't know what's going to catch on fire or what's gonna crash or what's you know what I mean. It's just one of those things. That's what makes it so exciting. And like you guys like looking at it now, you guys are seeing like as firsthand more tandem battles, more kind of like more like spirit of the driver, more aggression, more like it's more fun to watch, I believe.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I like it because my fellow drivers are not packing up their shit and going, getting on the trailer and leaving and shit, because it sucks, dude. It sucks. It sucks to like load up your stuff early and not make it into the show, especially when you spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I believe. Did I speak about that the last podcast? It was like 30K, bro, that I spent.
Yeah, I think we touched on it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. This is not a broke man sport. That was definitely. That's why. Hey, we need Tom's to sponsor us, bro. We need HKS to sponsor. We need help. Send help.
But yeah, I mean that was the end of the whole competition that day. So it ended up being James Dean getting first,
Yeah.
Simon Olsen second, and then Odie third. And it was
Yeah.
a really good weekend for sure.
I think we should touch bases on the Turk and Shanahan situation, man.
That was a really controversial run. They ran it 2-3 times, I believe. 2 times. They ran it once, and then in the top, once the top 32 wrapped up, they ran it again in the top 16. Yeah. So let's watch it. Let's watch both runs.
Oh, alright. So here's Ryan Turek and Connor Shanahan chasing right there.
Yeah, you see how he just grazes the wall. He doesn't go into the wall. So.
He's a really good driver, though. You can see
Hey, man, he's doing it for the old guys. The guy's like 40, 41, so super stoked that I can still do this in my 40s. He's proven that. You know what I mean? Like, super stoked. Plus, he's worked hard and he's very talented. He's been in the game for a long time. Yeah, you see? He barely touches the wall. Barely grazes the wall, and then barely grazes the wall. Shanahan staying with him, which is great. He's sucking up to the pocket, and everything's nice and dandy. So remember, the lead car is a moving clipping point. So your lead has to be chaseable.
This is where they make contact right here.
Okay.
So this was the initial, the second chase run, the second run that they did. Because initially you saw Ryan Turk, he made contact with the wall, and then Connor Shanahan has nowhere to go right there. So
yeah, he adjusted. It's crazy that this is Rome's old car.
There.
Yeah, almost over rotated. Okay, so I guess that, and then Turk's kind of wiggling through that power alley, kind of. That's why it was a one more time.
yeah, so initially I think they had said Connor Shanahan won.
Yeah.
And then I'm not sure what happened, because this was the actual rerun right here.
Well, yeah, but that's when they protested it and they were like, oh, like his tire went out before that run, this and that.
So the chase of Connor was the beating. That's why he almost over rotated. Right there. That's when they debeated, right?
Yeah, and it was before the contact.
Yeah, so that's a right call, actually. I know it's controversial, but it's just a tad. That's the right call, unfortunately.
We didn't want to see him run more, which is unfortunate, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a good run for Connor Shanahan this week.
Yeah.
He was very frustrated. I could tell when the interviews and stuff.
That's one thing I respect about him a little bit, though.
He does show how he feels.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot of drivers that show their emotions on camera or on social media and stuff like that.
Well,
so
when Matt,
kind of interesting.
when Matt Field and Frederick Osbo got into it, that was interesting. Did you see when the Corvette went into the wall? That was nuts. So, on that power alley where everybody's having a mistake, Frederick Osbo got too close to Matt Field and literally clipped his back end, and he rotated the car and went straight into the wall. And literally all four corners of Matt Field's car was like messed up. And he made it be known. Matt Fuel's a real one too, man. That one's kind of. But I think Connor does it with more class.
Mhm.
You know, there's levels to this, but he was definitely frustrated this weekend. And I think he's like, oh, it's politics and everything. But to be honest with you, every single sanctioned series has politics. Everything is not all the calls are gonna go your way. Not all the judges are gonna see it the way you see it or your team sees it. Remember, your team is gonna be biased because they're your team and they have your back and like there's favoritism and stuff like that. But when it comes down to doing the job as a judge, it's like you got to leave that at the door. Who made the mistake? What is the rules? And let's do our due diligence. This weekend too, Robbie Nishida came down from Japan and was in the judging booth with everybody, kind of giving his food for thought. And I know for sure they all had a conversation. And he's a judge, was a Formula Drift driver also. Shout out to Robbie. So I mean, he's a really his drift IQ is really high up there. You know what I mean? So, and that's something like that I found like with the Mexican Drift Championship too. A lot of the crowd doesn't understand the judging criteria. So from a crowd's perspective, it's different when you see it from a judging point of view because you're in a different part than a spectator would be. So you see different things. Plus you have instant replay and a drone shot and all that good stuff. So sometimes like if you guys get frustrated seeing this kind of stuff and you think there's favoritism, there's not favoritism. It's just literally the judges are seeing what is presented to them and then making a judgment call off of the presentation that the driver is giving them, and then that's the call. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, everybody needs to chill out. Plus, it's human input. Sometimes there's judges that get it wrong. Umpires get strikes and balls wrong all the time.
Yeah.
Angel Hernandez, you need to quit your job, bro. That guy is horrible, bro. He calls the pitch 6 inches off the plate. I mean, dude, you gotta go. Let's protest Angel Hernandez, man. Garbage. Umpire need to go. You guys like baseball?
No, not really.
Okay, don't watch it because this fool is an umpire, and I'm just joking.
Stick to drifting.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we do like Cisco was saying, how we view it as an audience, whereas how they view it as judges is incredibly different. Because now even watching the replays, we see it a lot different than we saw it yesterday. Like yesterday, we're down in the pits, we're lost in the smoke, we don't really see what's going on, and we don't get like that close perspective. So yeah, it's very different.
And as drift fans, I think you owe it to you guys yourself to really get your drift IQ up because it makes it funner to watch.
Yeah.
Then you start dissecting runs and start seeing where like the inputs of a driver, and that's what like I've been convincing Pete to do. I'm like, because we went to the track and I think it was like one of my customers G35. It was a sedan, and we had like 5 big dudes in there, just like squished. And then I was just like, "You could do this to your sedan," and then Lucy's like, "No."
We're not doing that to this car.
One day, you find me at Formula Drift.
Oh, guys.
Shout out to Rome CP.
You're cool, Rome. We like you.
Yeah,
You're
we
my
love.
favorite driver.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anywho, Pete.
You gotta get on this podcast, brother. You already know.
Pete, pop the picture here.
Right
the
here.
picture of the picture of the picture.
Right on my face.
So Pete,
Right in your face.
Pete had taken a picture of him at what? Irwindale?
No, it was at Long Beach.
It was
last
at Long
year.
Beach last year, and he had went to Irwindale to get that picture signed by Rome, and Rome had thought, oh, it was for him, and then Pete was like, no, this is for me. I just want you to sign it.
Yeah, I felt
So
bad.
he felt bad. So this year we went to give him that picture, and he was very happy about it.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's sick. But yeah, shout out to Rome, man. Thank you for having my back and giving me a lifelong advice, and he's a lifelong friend of me. So I was tripping about like Forsberg not making it far.
Yeah. I like that run between him and Rome, though. It was a good run.
Yeah.
Both really good.
And you know Forsberg, man, he's always consistent.
Yeah.
That dude is always consistent, man. And I know he drives a Z, and I love Z's. But he's always consistent, man. And that's what makes champions, consistency. Back in the day, you would be able to stand on the inner oval at Irwindale, like in the early years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would just happen for like a year. And you had to see the car wrap around and smoke and tires going to your face.
It's my favorite part.
Yeah, it's crazy. When I was a kid, actually, my first interaction with Von Giddens Jr. Was literally he was driving his S13 coupe Falcon. He goes in the pits, and I'm like looking at him, and like all these kids are signing it, like waiting because they had like tires or something for him to sign, and I'm like, I don't have anything for you to sign, but you're fucking dope, bro. And he goes, boom, kicks the side skirt off his car because it was falling off already, kicks it off, breaks it, signs it, and gives it to me.
That's funny.
I'm like, dude. And then for him to be at the spot now, plus he's a really good friend of my mentor Ernie. So yeah,
That's dope.
yeah.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Cisco, what happened to the Falcon team? Like, cause it was.
Because they were sponsoring Formula Drift for a while.
Yeah, and what happened? Do you have the inside scoop?
So it's they've supported it since day one. You know, Falcon's been very instrumental, and I believe they got a new budget and marketing team, and for budget constraints, they had to pull out. So they have to readjust what they're doing, and then come back into the game. They're gonna be back, but as far as like their marketing budget is concerned, it's really expensive. I don't think people really understand how expensive it is. So like even Pro-Am cars are six figures. So we're talking about like $100,000 builds. And I didn't understand that until I dropped $100,000 into a build, and it's like, whoa, you know. My friend, he has a Corvette. He dropped like 40 grand into his Corvette, and he was just like, it's not even a pro car. Like, it's not even to that level. And I'm just like, dude, you know, that's what it is. So, like for me, it was a flex to go up against people that have bigger budgets and then still win and get as far as I got. But yeah, Falcon, they'll be hopefully back, you know. Falcon, sponsor us. We need tires. Shout out to Falcon, right? No, but they're budget constraints, so hopefully one of these days they could come back, you know.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, so on that note, we just want to let you guys know everything we're talking about on this podcast is purely our opinion. So take it with a grain of salt, whatever you want to do right there. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the podcast. So where could they find you at, Cisco?
Cisco_skids, TikTok and Instagram.
For sure. Sounds good. And yeah, Dare to Drive podcast, you can find us on YouTube and TikTok. And then Instagram, daretodrive.la as well right there. But yeah, it's been Pete and
Lucy.
Cisco.
So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to stay tuned for part 2 of the next round of Formula Drift possibly. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to dare to drive.
Bye guys.
Later.